25 years ago, these kinds of opportunities weren't even on my radar. I was just worried about how I was gonna turn this into something that I could go to work every day and support my family. Now that I find myself traveling the world, I literally have to pinch myself sometimes. Welcome to Spain. Starting out 25 years ago, traveling around the world was not even on my radar. I was just worried about how to get somebody to trust me enough to put a water feature in their backyard. And at that time, starting out, I was just learning. So I was basically learning in somebody's backyard. And I was really fortunate. I had a lot of great customers that gave me opportunities and let me stretch my legs and figure this whole thing out. But it also gave me the confidence. It gave me the confidence to say, like, I can actually do this. And I remember even back then, the very first time plugging the pump in, which is always the best part. Plugging the pump in and seeing the water start to cascade down what I would consider a bad waterfall now. But back then, I was so proud of it. But still the feeling is the same. Plugging the pump in, the water starts coming down, you're like, yeah, this is pretty cool. And it's not just me anymore, it's the customer, it's the team, everybody standing there watching that water start to cascade down the rocks and feeling the magic of something coming to life in the landscape. It's so much better than putting in a plant or putting in a patio because it's actually moving and flowing, and it's a piece in the backyard that everybody gravitates towards. And that is the number one reason I do this, is for the feeling. It's the emotion of seeing that come to life.
He said he's working on the sand, his friend is close, he says he has another guy and he has some work that he's working on.
I can vividly remember the email I got from Seth when he first contacted me. He had been watching YouTube videos and he emailed me, said, hey, listen, I want to put a rec pond in at my house in Spain. And I had to read it a couple times to even fathom that somebody in Spain was contacting me. And I was like, so when I did finally call him, I'm like, so I got your email and you said you want to build something in Spain? He said, yeah, I moved from LA and I brought my family to Spain. We love it here and we really wanted, I watch all your videos and we really want to put a rec pond at my house in Spain that I'm redoing. And I still had to ask, I'm like, so you want me to come to Spain to build a water feature? And he's like, yeah. And he was serious about it. So then that led me to call Brian. I was like, Brian, this guy Seth called me and said he wants us to build a water feature in Spain. I'm like, can we go out there and do a consult? And he was like, really? He wants us to come out there? I said, yeah. So we set up the consult. We came out here, got to meet Seth and Ashley and the whole family, and really great people. And we were doing this thing. We did the design. Brian and I sat down and we came up with the whole design. They loved it and decided, hey, let's move forward with this. To even consider going to another country to build something like this, if you had asked me about it 10 years ago, I'd be like, you're crazy. Like, nobody's ever gonna want me to do that. I can't even picture where I would even get the opportunity. And lo and behold, here we are, in Spain. In Spain, building this incredible water feature with some of my best friends, and we're hitting challenges, and it's okay. Like, we're hitting straight rock 2 feet down, and nobody's panicked. Nobody's panicked, not even the customers panicked, because he's like, okay, I got the best guys here to do this. I know they'll figure it out, and we are figuring it out. We know there's a deadline, but we don't let that loom large. We just look at what's in front of us, how we're gonna attack this challenge, and how we're gonna overcome it. Challenges. Every job has them. Every job has challenges, and this one's no different. What makes it amplified is the fact that we're in another country, and we have a hard timeline to get this done. We don't have any wiggle room, and of course now we're hitting straight ledge rock in the ground. We dig down 2 feet, and now it's the hammer's out. We definitely were not expecting this, but it's a true testament to the team that we have here. We all just pivot, and we understand what the problem is. We're not dwelling on it. We're just like, what's the workaround? How do we make this happen? And really, it's just it's getting it done. It's hammering it and getting the rock out. There's no way for us to get around this. Some of the things I don't have to deal with when I'm working at home, whether it's in New Jersey or even across the country in California, is the material problems that we're facing. I've got tons of rock suppliers by me, so if I couldn't get rock one place, I can easily get it the same day from somewhere else. Here, things move very slow, so you have to really be far in advance with your planning, and even when you do that, things still don't seem to move the way you want them to. So right now, we're facing our boulders are not here. We're having to get sand to put in the excavation. We can't get that very quickly. I brought in some samples of sand to use on the beach. We're testing that out in the water, make sure it's not clouding up. But the fact that we don't have our boulders here, when our liner goes in, I am concerned that we'll be standing around twiddling our thumbs. But I know Seth is working hard to bring all that together, and really you need somebody like that on the ground when you're doing stuff like that. So having the customer involved is crucial, because it's not us trying to source all this stuff. We don't speak the language. We can't convey to them how important it is that we need these things to make this job go forward, and that's where having that in our back pocket with Seth is extremely valuable. In a situation like this where you're out of country, you're traveling, doesn't matter where it is, I don't have the same resources at hand that I would at home. I don't have my trucks here where I could just go get things that I want, or my own machines. Here in particular, like, we shipped all of our pond product in from the States. So I know we had that, but now I've got to make adjustments in plumbing, and going to even like the plumbing supply, I'm seeing stuff there that I've never even seen before. The pipe sizes aren't the same, they're off by just a little bit, they won't work with what we've got. So we're trying to engineer our way around some of this stuff. So it's crucial that we lean on our experience. But between the four of us that are here, we come up with workarounds. It's not lost on me how fortunate we are to be in this position, but also to have the experience to be able to get around some of these challenges. When Brian and I were here almost a year ago for the consult, we did go to the stone yard. And when we went to the stone yard, there wasn't much there that we could use. Fortunately, through Seth talking to the owner of the stone yard, he's like, hey, listen, we have a quarry that we pull this stuff from. Because I found maybe 1 or 2 rocks that I thought would work real well. And he's like, we have millions of tons of this stuff. So we actually drove several hours up into the mountains to the quarry where they pick the stone And Brian and I were able to hand select the stone for this project. It's between there and now where things kind of break down a little bit. We assumed that everything was going to be brought down to the stone yard, readily available. They could simply truck it 20 minutes and it would be here. Well, that didn't happen. They're actually going to be bringing the stuff from 3 hours away for each load. Hopefully they're bringing it fast enough for us to be able to keep moving and getting progress done on the job, because that could be a real hitch in the plan. But again, it's thinking on the fly, making things happen, and this is where the experience comes in.